I'm filling in for Jerry. Jerry is on vacation, which we love to see because he works so hard and he does so much for all of our guests and all of our staff. We have over 200 staff. There's a lot of people that work at Rythmia, and we've almost seen 20,000 people through the doors of Rythmia. So it's very busy, a lot of work to do. We've only just begun. It's incredible, and I'm happy to fill in for Jerry on this Facebook Live. So I was thinking about what I'd like to talk about, and I'm involved with the content that we teach you guys at Rhythmia, and I'm responsible for all the medical endeavors that we have with the guests and the policies that we follow with the Ministry of Health of Costa Rica. I maintain the license with the government, and I make sure that all of the protocols are followed to the T at Rhythmia. And so I have a pretty wild job too. And what the goal of Rhythmia is to create the safest environment for you to do this work. In order to do the work that you're seeking, whether it be to get past your depression or deal with your anxiety or deal with your trauma or just figure out what the next phase of your life is going to be, or you've just been through something really, really tough, a loss in the family or a relationship ending, or whatever it might be, we want to make sure that Rhythmia is a place where you can come and you can be safe there and you can open up to yourself and allow the process to happen. And just to review briefly, because I'm sure you've heard this from Jerry before, is that we have a week-long program and it's very detailed. It involves classes, it involves a lot of different modalities that we use. It involves ayahuasca, it involves breath work and hydrocolonic cleanses and meditation and yoga and a spa with body work and saunas and cold plunges and everything for you to feel connected to yourself and to release whatever it is you're holding on to that's keeping you sort of, detached from the authentic you. So, what I wanted to talk about was the importance of setting intentions. Now, there's a lot of, talk about, oh, well, my intention is this and my intention is that. And sometimes we think of intentions as like every year around January, people come up with these resolutions, right? New Year's resolutions. But in my opinion, those are intentions because they intend to shift something, do something differently, have a different outcome. But oftentimes, those resolutions don't turn into intentions because they're not following the other two steps that are required when you set an intention. So, what the data shows us and what we've learned through our experience at Rhythmia is that aside from setting an intention, you have to be mindful about that intention. So, that means you have to think about it. And mindfulness just means being present with it. It's not something you just forget about and don't address. It's something you're kind of thinking about and it's present on your mind a bit. So, that's being mindful about your intention. The third one, you have to meditate on that intention. And that's where the process occurs for that intention to be realized. So, what do I mean by meditation? I don't necessarily only mean sitting and being silent and staring at a candle flame, right? Like that is meditation for some, but meditation can also be listening to a certain kind of music that gets you focused. It can be, for me, it's exercise. So my meditation is my exercise. Some people, it's taking a walk. So there's all these different things that can fall into the category of meditation. So don't get hung up on you have to sit in silence and just kind of the traditional way of meditation. That's a great way. If you're good at that, awesome. Um, Yoga is a meditation. So there's a lot of different things. Now, what's happening when you set an intention, you have it mindful, you're present with it on your mind. And then the third thing is that you meditate on it, which is what Rhythmia is about. Rhythmia is about allowing you to meditate on your intentions in a lot of different ways. Breath work is one way, and ayahuasca is another way, and all the different classes and things we have are ways to do this. So you can have a breakthrough at any time. You can have a breakthrough in your own casita when you're thinking about these things. You can have a breakthrough in the sauna. You can have a breakthrough in one of the classes. In the closing group on Saturday, after you've been there a week, you can have a breakthrough. And a lot of breakthroughs happen during the ayahuasca sessions. So, what's happening when you do these three steps? So, intention, mindfulness, and meditate on it. What's happening is you're triggering something in your DNA. You're triggering a gene sequence called the sigmar-1 gene. This gene turns on a pathway neurochemically between your amygdala through the hippocampus and into the prefrontal cortex. And the reason why that's so important for this process is because the amygdala is where we store our subconscious memories, the things we're holding on to. If we've been through trauma, we push our emotions there during the traumatic moment. And then we access those through this process. We bring them forward into our consciousness in the prefrontal cortex. That's where we have memories, or we have visuals, or we have thoughts come to us like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. I see why I act this way. It's because of the way I was raised, or it's because of what I went through last year, or it's because of whatever. And so you have this sort of process that happens. It's therapeutic. And then there's something called a psychosomatic release. That's where you purge the emotions that you've been holding on to in your amygdala. And purging is done lots of different ways. Not just throwing up, which is really typical of an ayahuasca purge or an ayahuasca release. You can also uh, cry. You can also laugh. You can also kind of have sweats. You can also kind of have like a movement. Some people say that their arms or their legs kind of move a little bit. Also, yawning is a purge, and you're releasing a lot of energy that way. So a purge is really beneficial. And sometimes people get worried and they say, "Oh, I don't want to throw up. It's not comfortable. No one likes to throw up." But this type of throwing up is extremely therapeutic. It's a release of the things you've been holding on to. It's not like the way it is when you're like, let's say you have the flu or something. I mean, you're releasing toxins too when you do that, but this is really emotional based. So don't be afraid of the purge that can happen. And not everyone will throw up, by the way. I, for whatever reason, rarely throw up. I tend to go to the bathroom more frequently when I'm in an ayahuasca session. So those are the intentions that we teach you at Rhythmia, are something that will help you realize your own personal intentions. And we say, if you follow our three intentions, then all the other ones that you have that are more specific to your life, those will fall under those three intentions, and you'll have those realized as well. And those three intentions are: show me who I've become, merge me back with my soul at all costs, and heal my heart. Those are the three intentions. And we teach you how to use those in the ayahuasca sessions, in the breath work, in the different modalities that we offer. And so for I want to also touch briefly upon the nine. Now, the nine are nine new intentions that Jerry received in a download from an ayahuasca session. And if you've had ayahuasca before and you've sat with it before, you realize that you can get some information for yourself and sometimes for your family or for things you're involved with. It's called download, and it's the breakthrough of things that you're trying to get answers for. And it's the non-biased, unblocked realization of clarity and information. And it's really interesting. And so it's kind of like you can have a question like, what should I do with my job? I have an opportunity to leave my job and try this new job. Because I'm confused whether I should or not. I don't really know what to do. And so then that's your intention. You're mindful about it. Then you have ayahuasca, and then you think about it, and then all of a sudden, this clarity comes, and you picture yourself staying in your job, let's say, and then the benefits of staying in your job, and then or you see that it's time to move on, and you see yourself or you feel this new sort of way and this new opportunity in this other job, and you get a clarity on that, and so that's a lot of what's happening during ayahuasca sessions, and so I'm the science guy at Rhythmia. So I'm always like, what's happening neurochemically? Because there's a lot of spiritual explanations for that, energetic explanations for that. So I try to think like, well, what is that? Well, in our day-to-day life, we have biases. There's a lot of chatter. There's a lot of noise that comes at us, and we can get flooded with a lot of information and a lot of opinions, a lot of things that aren't really about us. And so during ayahuasca sessions or any of these modalities we have, you eliminate all of that. You eliminate the noise, you eliminate the distractions, and you have just clarity for you. And so that's a really, really good sort of way to have information stream in for you. And if you've been to Rhythmia before, you've usually had this happen for you. It's really cool. So when this goes on, we have these 9 intentions that are for the alumni, and we teach you, aside from those 3 that you had when you first came, there's 9 additional ones that help you go deeper in your process. And those are 3 freedoms, 3 gifts, and 3 awarenesses. Now the freedoms are they're all important, but one of the freedoms that I really love is freedom from the opinions of other people. This is a really important intention because in our life, there's people trying to hold us down. There's people trying to attack you, trying to make it so you don't succeed. You know that analogy of like the bucket with the crabs, right? We all know this analogy. And as one crab tries to climb out and get out, the other crabs pull that crab back down into the pot or whatever, right? So it's just human nature to, sort of criticize other people, and to not let people kind of succeed ahead if you're in your own sort of dysfunction. Now, other people, right, we like to hope, are encouraging of your success and your progress and your breakthroughs. And the way I like to explain it in a psychological framework is the healthier the family system that you're in, the less pushback there'll be when you shift into this higher vibe and this good progressive movement for you. The happier you are, the more happy your system is too, and they're glad for you, and they try to come along with you on it. That's a healthy family system. An unhealthy family system, there's pushback, and if you change, then they don't want that, and they try to get you back in the old way, and that's not a high functioning family system. And when I say family system, it could be your actual blood family, it could be your adopted family, it could be your work family, it could be a community family, your friend family. So I'm just talking about a group of people, a system that you spend time with and is part of your life. So the healthier the family system, the more encouraging they are, so to you and your change. So freedom from the opinions of others is so important, because as you do things in your life and you're breaking free from things that have been holding you back, and you're progressing and moving forward, there's often jealousy. There's often people don't want to feel like they're left behind from your progression. People feel that they'd like to do it too, but they don't know how, and they're scared, so they try to hold you back, or they just try to destroy you. And people come at you and gossip and say things that are not true, or have hints of truth, and that expand and try to just bombard you with negativity. So this intention is really important because it helps you not pay attention to that, and you realize something very important, that when people are trying to tear you down or hold you back or criticize what you're doing in a shift, it has really nothing to do with you at all. It has everything to do with them. It's their own insecurities. It's their own lack of self-reliance. It's their own problems. And they don't want to look at themselves, because looking at themselves is hard. And we all know this. And that's why we're at Rhythmia. And that's why we have a safe container for you for your week-long program, because it can be hard to look at yourself. There's nobody else to blame but you. And so that's intimidating for some people. That's why we have so many staff that are there to support you. That's why we have a really tailored, detailed program that helps you walk through that process in a really, really powerful way. And almost 100% of our guests report at the end of the week that they've had this happen for them, and they've realized these 3 intentions. And we call that getting your miracle. And when you get your miracle, that means that you saw who you've become, you merged back with your soul, and then you healed your heart, and you actually had this happen. And so that's what we call it, getting your miracle. And our 6 month average, if you look 6 months back, what is our number? It's in the 98th percentile. So it's very strong, and this program really works. And when alumni come to Rhythmia, come back, the first thing they do on Monday morning is they go into a class about the nine, and we teach them for about 30 minutes on how to use these new nine intentions once they've used the first three and plugged back into themselves and healed themselves. So that one intention is, I just want to give a little preview, is, you know, freedom from the opinions of other people. It's very important. And that has a lot to do with the businesses you're in, relationships you're in, your friend group that you have. Like, you have to remember that when they attack you, it's about them. It's not about you. It's about them. Because wouldn't you agree that if somebody is going through a rough time, or if somebody's trying to do what's right for themselves or for society, that there's a people that are not ready for that around you, and they get worried because they feel like, uh-oh, I've had a distraction for a very long time in you, and now you're moving past that, and now I can't distract myself with you, so now I'm going to try to hold you back. And that is about them. It's not about you at all. And when I was working in my field in psychology back in Los Angeles before Rhythmia, I had this as a common theme with my patients. And so what they would do, and they would come into my office, and then they would project onto me. And that's a psychodynamic framework. So there's different strategies in therapy. And often you learn one or two, or maybe you can learn all of them. It just depends. Then you tend to focus on one stream of psychotherapy sort of protocols. And mine was psychodynamic. That's what I focused on. And what I was trying to do intentionally in my sessions was get the clients to project onto me, because then I could use that as material to help them see what was going on, and I could connect to them and actually realize what they were feeling. And so out in society, when you're not someone's therapist, and you're a family member, or you're a friend, or you're an acquaintance, and someone projects onto you, it's inappropriate, because it's abusive, and it's not something that's fair to the person that's being projected onto. And so it's key to realize that that has nothing to do with you. And you flip it around and go, this person is actually feeling less than, or this person is feeling sad, or they're feeling that no one's listening to them. They're invisible or unseen or unheard. And then you can have compassion for those people. So that's where your enemies become people that you care deeply about, because you don't want them to be in pain, because you're seeing the pain they're in by what they're projecting. And it's not easy to go into that zone. It's easier when you're someone's therapist, because that's the context and it makes sense. But when you're in your day-to-day life, you're in your business, you're in your friendships, or just acquaintances, when someone does this, it's very unsettling. It doesn't feel good. So you have to be really plugged into yourself. You have to be strong in you. If you're uncertain of who you are and you're triggered a lot, you're not doing your work, you're not staying on your path, then you can easily get swayed away from the things that you're focused on. So I just want to remind you that, if people are trying to tear you down or anything like that, it has really nothing to do with you, because you have your own sort of thing that you're working on. You have your own personal pathway that you're trying to advance on. And that's why you guys are watching these Facebook lives that we do, because that's what your intentions are. And that's why you come to Rhythmia, because that's what you're trying to do. And that's why after you leave Rhythmia, you have an aftercare plan, and you have certain very clear things that you're doing. You're eating healthy, you're staying away from drugs and alcohol, you're eating in a way that gives your body fuel that's healthy. You're you have a daily practice. You're doing things that keep you plugged in, and you're giving service, and you're being charitable, and all these things help keep you focused. And also, we have a 13-week sort of a, what do we call it? Like, it's an integration app called Our Life that you get access to for free when you leave Rhythmia. And you get an access code, and you can go into the app, and it has a bunch of content. It has yoga, meditation, guided meditations. Also has group therapy on Tuesdays. You can log in and be in a group. And there's also one-on-one individual therapy. And there's certain practitioners in there. Kim Terranova is in there, John Jacob, I'm in there, Ben is in there. There's a couple others, a new couple new ones that are going to be joining us soon. Excuse me. So there's a lot of sort of resources for you to stay on your focused path of integration. So I just want to, remind you of the importance of intention setting, that there's more to it than just your mind. There's a biochemical process happening. There's an actual measurable epigenetic response that's happening. And if you use your intention, you're mindful about it, and you meditate on it, you can have things manifest and happen. You guys hear a lot about that, like I manifested this or that. Well, that's how it happens. That's exactly how it happens. You have that goal, you think about it, you ponder it, and then you focus on it in a meditative way that works for you. And that's how you manifest things. That's how things happen for you that are good and beneficial. So I'm gonna wrap this up. Thank you for watching. We're hopefully see Jerry soon, and he's taking a much needed vacation. It's nice to see everybody. We'll hopefully see you soon at Rythmia. Thanks for watching. Take care. Pura vida.